Last time I was here, I had just started Hunter x Hunter, and by just started, I mean, like, I guess we had, like, almost finished the Greed Island arc, which is, like, pretty far into the series, but come on. You can't talk about Hunter x Hunter until you've seen the Chimera Ant arc, am I right? Am I right? So now what I'm gonna do is just talk about all of it, and make some jokes about what happens, and recap the story, and all that good stuff. Before we get too far into it, obviously I'm gonna spoil, like, the entirety of Hunter x Hunter, and I can't even say, like, oh, watch up until you've seen— no, because I might spoil something later, who knows. I'll try— like, I tried not to, but I might have. I talk about Yu Yu Hakusho a little bit as well, a couple of the villains. I'm gonna kind of spoil the ending of the second to last arc, so if you're like a super big Yu Yu Hakusho fan, or like you're planning on watching it and you don't want to spoil anything, that's like my last section where I talk about what's past the manga. I've caught up with the manga, so I will talk about that at the end as well. And also I put a bunch of JoJo screen caps. I don't know, it's me. Let's get going. The Hunter exam arc starts off as freaking One Piece. Like, they're all on a pirate ship, and there's this dude who reminded me of Buggy, but like only the way that he looks, not the way that he acted. And like they're all on this pirate ship, and they like save a guy from going overboard. But everyone knows that the best part about this like episode is the part where Kurapika is like, "Take that back, Leorio! He said, take it back." And Leorio goes, "That's Mr. Leorio." It's a very classic, very good scene. So as we continue moving forward, the best part that happens next— I mean, I guess stuff happened, but what's important is that we finally get to meet best boy Killua, and I guess Hisoka and Tonfa are there too, but Killua is very important to the plot, as many of you know. And he's got a skateboard, he's coming in with the drip, so we're all ready to get started. I don't know, the beginning of the Hunter exam starts with a lot of running, and then they run through, like, a swamp. And I have, like, a couple things about this, like, swamp part. The first thing is that when Hisoka fought Gon for the first time, since Gon was trying to save Leorio and Kurapika, I thought that they were gonna have, like, a Fire Emblem, Ike and Black Knight, like, rivalry going on. So, if you're not a super big Fire Emblem person, Ike and the Black Knight fought each other when Ike was a little younger, and in our English release of the sequel game, the Black Knight says, "Hey, I let you win because I thought you were going to be able to be stronger, and I wanted to fight you at your strongest." And I thought that this was going to be like their relationship. It's not, and that makes me really upset. Like, it could have been this. It could have even been, like, a little bit of the Death Knight from Fire Emblem Three Houses, you know. Sprinkle in a little bit of, "I also want you to kill me, or I'm gonna kill you." But, like, with the condition that it was gonna be, like, "I want to fight you when you're at your strongest." Doesn't quite feel like what this is about, and that makes me really mad. The other thing I have a question about is why Leorio? I'm wondering why Leorio. That is going to bother me for my entire life. What did Hisoka see in Leorio? Because everyone else on Hisoka's hit list is like insanely powerful. What is Leorio hiding? Or what is that potential that he hasn't reached yet? I need to know, and we're not gonna know. Anyway, so then they cook and grab eggs, and lots of people die. The real next best part is this blue guy. Love the blue guy. It's the blue guy. I don't even remember his name, but he's the blue guy, and he's funny. Like, that's all there is. He kind of has the same vibe as Barry the Chopper from Full Metal Alchemist, and I like that about him. He's just kind of a crazy guy. And then there's also the girl who gambles. Gambling fights are always peak, and Leorio could have beat her if only he bet he was a teenager. Like, come on, man. So after that, the whole gang Kool-Aid mans through the wall so that they can continue on the Hunter exam. And then they go to the part that's the most dangerous game, you know, where you're hunting the other humans to try to get their badges. And Gon decides, you know, I'm gonna freaking fish for, like, 2 days. He just throws his fishing rod everywhere and thinks that no one's gonna see him. Hello? Dude, you're on an island. Like, there are other people there. Like, all the applicants— I don't remember how many are left. Like, 50? 20? I don't know. There's a lot that are still there. And so when he got caught, I didn't feel bad, right? But the real most important part about this part of the Hunter exam is when Hisoka is about to lose it and he goes absolutely sicko mode. That is peak Hisoka. All the stuff that happens in Heaven's Arena, trash. But this is it. So after that, I don't know, there's like some snakes and like bugs and whatever. But we're gonna get like better bugs later, so yeah, just hold on. The arc ends with this tournament thing. And so the tournament, what makes it different is that instead of being like one person wins, it's like one person loses. So that was interesting. Now the problem with the tournament is that we start off with this Chad design gift truck. This dude, I don't remember what his name is, but he goes from looking so cool like this to being some like lame Bishonen who gaslights Killua, and that sucks. Yeah, so that's the end of this arc. I think the beginning was like really important because it showed how Kurapika and Leorio got physically stronger, but really all I remember is them having to like break through the door, okay? And like, you know, we got some JoJo moments, like they freaking shoot Canary, like just like they shot Avdol. And then, I don't know, they play like games with the butler. I don't remember a lot of this arc, like, I don't think much important happened. I mean, you got to see Killua's dad for the first time, which was kind of cool, and his mom, but his mom is really toxic, and his dad is also toxic. He just seemed less toxic at the time, but like, whatever. And then at the end of the arc, Leorio and Kurapika just leave, because that's gonna become a trend, I guess. This arc was like full of just children beating each other up, just the baby fights. Like, I don't think Killua had a real fight through this entire arc, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, there was nothing that was a challenge. There was nothing that was even remotely stressful for him. And then Gon fought the guy who looks like the Top Man tribe from Super Mario Galaxy. Like, are you kidding me? And then they team up with a baby and a guy who is like the embodiment of this emoji so that they could learn like Nen or whatever. I guess that's supposed to be like plot relevant, but come on. It's just a lot of them talking and doing water divination. You know why we're all here watching Hunter x Hunter? We want to watch some good fights. So the best Killua fight in this arc was just when he like approached the one guy who threatened little Zushi and just was like, you know, you do anything, I'm literally gonna kill you. That was funny. The actual best fight in the arc is between Castro and Hisoka. That was actually a really entertaining fight because Castro pulls out his wolf fang fist and yeets both of Hisoka's arms off. You know, but when your arms get thrown off, you're supposed to like suffer a little bit. Like, that shouldn't be something that you can just do. And he just kind of like whatever, took it in stride. Yeeted the arm at the ceiling! It was so funny. That was just a really good fight all around. You know, you're introduced to Nen and like how it works. See, the problem was when they like started to explain it like a bazillion times after the fight. That made it less good. Like, the fight itself was peak, but then they had to explain it like a gazillion times. What was really cool about the aftermath of this fight is that we were introduced to our first member of the Phantom Troop, Machi, which is also peak, and during that time we learned that Hisoka's also part of the Phantom Troop, so it just like gets this whole ball rolling. That's like super important. Now, I have a lot to say about Machi's introduction, because I think that it was just pinnacle of writing to use her as the introduction to the Phantom Troop and to give us a false sense of what the troop is about. You know, what does it mean to be a spider? When Machi is introduced, you can tell that her relationship with Hisoka, another member of the troop, is strictly business. Like, she tells him, I'm only here because you're paying me. More for this arm than this arm. He asks her to hang out and she says no and leaves. This gives us this idea that being part of the Phantom Troop is more like an every man for yourself thing. Like, we'll share information, we'll help each other if, you know, you have enough cash. But really, when push comes to shove, this is like an organization where you're on your own. That's the feel that we get, because we see Machi, who is really indifferent towards people and cold towards people and standoffish towards people, and she absolutely despises Hisoka. So we just get this idea that that's what the troop is like. It's a perfect misdirection, because later we figure out that the troop is like the closest thing a lot of these people have to family, and that they will sacrifice themselves for the troop, for the boss, for the organization that they have. It's literally just because it's Hisoka that we get this kind of warped version of what the troop is like. So I thought that was really cool. Anyway, so then we have to listen to Mr. Wing talk like for a bazillion years about how like the fight worked and how Nen works and yada yada. So then we get to the fight everyone has been waiting for, where Hisoka fights Gon, but it was actually like, it had some good choreography in it, you know, if you ignore some of this stuff. But come on, the best part everyone knows is when he hits him with an old, like, you know, there's a rock to your right. Oops, I meant my right. That's peak. That's funny. Anyway. When we start Yorknew City, we're introduced to Kurapika, who has gotten like this massive brain since the last time we saw him. Like, he just plays this like big brain play and like outsmarts literally everyone that he's with as he is trying to infiltrate the mafia. And he teams up with, you know, his friends Basho and Melody, and what they do is they decided that they're going to be working for this girl named Neon, who is actually evil and collects people's body parts. Like, what an absolute freak. During that time, Gon and Killua made like $1 bazillion at the Heavens Arena, but then decided to spend it on terrible eBay merchandise in hopes that they would get rich quick. That was really stupid. And so then Leorio had to come in clutch to get like a good scheme going where they con people out of their money, which was actually pretty funny. And another reason why, like, you remember that Gon and Killua are freaking 12. Like, they're just 12. That is exactly what a 12 would do. A 12-year-old would look at this like Mickey Mouse potato and be like, I bet I could sell that for more, and then not be able to. Super cool about what's after that is we go back to Kurapika, who is going sicko mode on this member of the Phantom Troop. And at this point, like, there is nothing I can say about the fight between Kurapika and Uvogin that would be like funny, because it was just so good. One of the things watching Hunter x Hunter and seeing Kurapika is, for a little bit, you think, like, dude, there's no way he got so overpowered so fast. But then as he slowly starts to reveal to you and to reveal to Uvo the source of his power, like, everything just clicks. It is so cool. And their final, like, words that they share with each other, how Uvo takes all of the troop secrets to the grave. That's really great stuff. Really awesome. Love that fight. While this is all happening, two of our friends, the Zoldicks, are fighting a dude in a headband who ends up being the boss of the Phantom Troop, Prolo. I mean, good for him. They fight for a little bit until they realize that, like, we don't have to fight anymore, and then they freaking leave. So then Prolo runs to the top of the building to start conducting the orchestra as everyone runs through the city, and then they kill them. And then, during that time, the gang gets back together. And you see, there is nothing else that I can say, again, to make jokes about what's happening here. Because the interactions between our gang and the Phantom Troop, that is what makes this arc so good. You see all the complex layers of all the characters. You get to see each character's individual motivation. You get to see their dedication to the troop, how much they mean to each other. Like, this is not going to be a video about the Phantom Troop, because I would probably talk about them for way too long. But what's so great about them is their interactions with each other. It's the values that they have. It's what they do to show their dedication to the troop and to their group. Like, that is what makes this so good, because this is the first time that you see this enemy in front of you and you wonder what put them here. Why are they doing what they're doing? Because you know it's deeper. You know that there's something there that we still don't know yet. You know, we don't know a lot about Meteor City. We don't know a lot about how these people grew up, or how they were acting with each other, like, throughout that time. and why they decided to turn to not just stealing but also killing. This is a huge thing, and there's just so much to unpack. It's really beautiful. This was like such a great arc. I mean, and there were even like really funny moments like sprinkled in through there, setting up things that would happen later. It was really great, and I don't know, maybe I'll talk about the Phantom Troop later and like each of their individual members. Like, man, Pakunoda, peak. Like all these people, this is so good. But anyway, so at the end of this arc, it's clear it's the same. Adios from Leorio and Kurapika. All I remember about the beginning of the Greed Island arc is that they spent way too long explaining all of the card types and what they did. It's like, sorry, I don't care. The arc really got started when their teacher, who is actually like way older than she looks, throws the two boys into the pit so that they can train and whatnot. And then I honestly don't remember what happens after that. There's like a big gap in my brain that comes back when they start to play sports anime. All right. This sports anime, this is one of the best fights in the whole series. This is absolute peak. Razor is one of the best antagonist characters from this show. He's not even listed as an antagonist in the wiki, but come on. Just because he was like a partner with Jean, like, dude, doesn't matter. He was their enemy. He would have killed them, no miss. Like, this was a fantastic battle. Like, he deserves to be an antagonist, man. Freaking Genthru? Genthru didn't do anything. Genthru was terrible. Razor was the best part of this arc. Let's be real. So, they have literally the most intense rock, paper, scissors match in the world during this fight as they're throwing the dodgeball at each other, playing sports anime, returning it like volleyballs, and then like they have this really sicko mode, like team workout thing that they do to catch it at the end. It has that really funny moment where after Gon like passes out, Hisoka goes for the like stylish win because it's what Gon would have wanted, and says that line about how it's like, you know, we did this as a team, and Killua says never say this again. Oh, that's awesome. Yo, Biscuit when she's jacked, that is the best Biscuit. Love her, love that. So anyway, then I guess like there's the fight with the actual villain Genthru or whatever, but like because like he lost his hand or whatever, or Gon lost his hand, he was able to beat Genthru, and like the rock and, you know, all that, we know. But what's really great about this Greed Island arc is that it leads into the next arc. Because Gon and Killua were able to sneak out an accompany card, which Jean had hooked up to. Best boy Kite, let's go! What a sweet little family. I hope nothing tragic happens to them. It is so cute that these characters that we were introduced to a while back came back, and they're a couple. You know, I really hope that nothing bad happens to them, or to any other couples that we see in this arc. Man, Kite is such a great mentor figure to Gon and Killua. He's someone that they've needed for a long time, and I really hope he sticks around with us for a while, because, you know, Togashi doesn't kill his mentor characters ever, right? So after they lose their Kite, they go back to the city and they meet Knuckles the Echidna. Knuckles is a peak character. Like, this guy, he is got his head screwed on so right. And like, look, just because he's a Josuke Okuyasu hybrid and this is like the JoJo Part 4 fanfic, okay, that doesn't matter. Like, look at Knuckle. He's just a baby boy. He's a baby boy. And not only is he a baby boy who loves puppies and loves animals, he wants to see the best in people. What they were worried about with him going to the Chimera Ants was because he was wondering, like, do they really have to die? Like, do they have any humanity left? That's so beautiful and so perfect. But anyway, yeah, since this is a JoJo's fanfiction, they have the Josu Yasu hybrid. They also have Yukiko, who's like in this. Like, I mean, look at this. It's straight up Yukiko's here. And so she ends up going on a date with Gon. This is Palm, by the way. I don't think I said her name for reals. Palm went on a date with Gon. That was actually like really funny. The line in the dub where Gon is explaining to Killua that he goes on dates with like older women all the time. They're called cougars. That's hilarious. It's one of those moments where you're like, Gon, you are so 12. You are so 12. And you know what was super cool about Palm is that later she freaking just became Bayonetta. Like, that's a peak character design, and I hope she does it again sometime. Love that. We got some other, like, really good characters in this arc as well. We have Shoot, who, like, is missing an arm and I think loses, like, a foot or something during a battle and, like, covers his eye like a freaking pirate. But he grows so much from where he started to where he was at the end of the arc. And then we met a bunch of really cool Chimera Ants also, like Melioron, who was like, realized that his physical strength was not there, but that he was able to still help take down the king. We also had Nove, who was super interesting, as him and Mortal were both characters that at the beginning kind of felt really confident about the whole situation, but Nove was the one who like completely lost hope during it. And he continued to help despite everything he went through, but like that was super interesting. But I mean, Nove lost it, but Mortal is freaking peak. Look at this dude. He took out so many Chimera Ants. He did so much to help everyone. He was in every single fight. Like, look at this. Now, everyone knows with the Chimera Ant arc, it's not about the fights. It's about the messages that are sent. But there were some good fights. Like the time that Mortal fought Leo and in that bottom of the church, and he totally, like, destroyed him before everything even got started. Like, that was so cool how he had like planned out his attacks all the way from the beginning so that he would be able to beat him and defeat the Chimera Ant. There was also the time that Killua became a dartboard, and that was really cool. It taught Killua the skills that he needed to perfect his like electric god mode, which is really cool. And he met Ikalgo, which was also great. And then another fight that was really cool, which I don't know if you could even call it a fight, but it's when all the dragons fell from the sky and destroyed the temple. Because it was at this point that you learned that every single Zoldyck has a bestie. That's crazy. Like, every Zoldyck has a bestie. That's low-key a little crazy. Very strong, but loses it. Okay? And the last fight that was really cool is when Meruem and Netero fought. I mean, of course, this was the first time that we saw Netero get serious. And we know that Meruem was like, he's not gonna lose this because he's the main villain. He's the Chimera Ant King. Like, he's so strong. There was no way he was gonna lose. But even then, Netero found a way to continue to fight by using the freaking bomb and blew everything up. That was a lot. That was so much. But now it's the time that everyone's been waiting for, right? It's time to talk about the Chimera Ants, specifically the King and the Royal Guard, because these are the characters. These are the ones that are making and breaking what this arc is about. These are our super big villains, alright? So we start with Pito. And Pito, I'm gonna rip that head off. Pito, the cat bug. It was very worth it. It was very worth it to see Gon absolutely destroy Pito. And I know that we probably were supposed to feel a little bit bad because Pito was the one who was still following the king's orders to a T. Pito was the one who was fixing up Komugi. But listen, Pito turned Kite into a soulless puppet. Freaking not cool. So deserve this. Next we have Poof. Poof becomes Teen Titans Go, and that was like his worst character moment ever. That's saying a lot. Poof. I have a lot of feelings about Poof. He's so annoying when he becomes Teen Titans Go. I am sorry. This, like, why did you turn into a bazillion versions of yourself? One of you is enough, my guy. You need to not. Yuppie was, like, so cool. Yubi was incredible, like, to see his growth as an antagonist, to watch him develop this sense of morals and warrior code, like, during it, that was awesome. And then he became a simp and a bee, and that was stupid. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But of course, we cannot finish this without talking about Meruem and Komugi, okay? Meruem's whole character arc, where he begins a merciless killer and realizes through playing games with Komugi that there is more to life than killing, that there's more that he wants from life than to just be the Ant King, to do everything he's supposed to do as the Ant King. That's amazing. Like, just to see that growth and that change. It was subtle, it was slow, it went over the whole course of the arc. Like, even when he was fighting Netero and he was like, I know that there are humans that don't need to die, and I want to help provide for them. Granted, it was kind of a sicko way to do it, but he was getting there. And then by the end, to realize that the only thing he wanted to do in his life was to spend it with Komugi. Komugi is an absolute unit. Like, bro, remember the time that the king ripped off his arm? And then Shia is like, you gotta put it back on. And then he's like, no. And then Komugi's like, you're hurt, you gotta put it back on. And he's like, no, I'm gonna kill you. And she goes, do it! Oh, peak. Komugi is an absolute legend. Like, she spends her whole time, like, all her days playing Gungi. You know, good for her. That's so good for her. She's just so wonderful. She's cute, she's stubborn, she's passionate. She's got everything to support the king that he needed. He needed to see someone like Komugi, okay? So, there's, like, you know, all of the drama between Shia Poof and Komugi, you know, where he tries to kill her and all that. But listen, Shia Poof even admitted it to all of us in a very dramatic flair that he has this version of the king in his mind, and the real king doesn't live up to that ideal. That's not a cool way to live your life, bro. You gotta be like Komugi and accept the king for who he is, to encourage him to better himself, playing the Gungi matches, to convince him to heal himself when he rips off his freaking arm. I believe that I was born so I could be here today. That's peak. That's absolute peak. This is literally peak. Okay, so Komugi and Meruem were characters where I was like, bro, they're just soulmates. Like, I don't even care about anything else. They just need to go off to a house somewhere together, play Gungi for the rest of their lives. But then there's, like, cute cards like this. Like, look at that Mobage card. And I'm like, Mobage? I don't know, whatever. Look at that. I'm like, maybe they could kiss a little bit. Like, they could have, and I would have been okay with it. But whether they did or not, doesn't matter. They're soulmates. It's perfect. We're moving on. So at first we're introduced to Pariston, and Pariston during this arc just drives you up a wall. Like, that's just how he is. You know, we were Shia Poofless for like 2 episodes, and then Togashi's like, man, I need to get someone else in here that's gonna drive everyone insane. And so they brought us Pariston. But more on him later. The next thing that we realize is that Killua has a little sister that we, like, never knew about. And what's super cool about his little sister is that she is 2 people. Which is, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting that, she is combined with this being Nanika. And what that means is Aluka follows the trend of Zoldycks having besties that are kind of freaking off the walls. Nanika's the one who, like, asks people for their fingernails and their liver. That's freaking weird, dude. So weird. Manga stuff, really interesting that Nanika is from the Dark Continents, and people have, you know, all their theories about if she's one of the calamities and all that. That's really cool. But what's most important is that Aluka does have a crazy bestie, which makes her a perfect Zoldyck. So now we're just waiting to find, like, the crazy besties for Miluki and for Kaluto. Like, I want to know who their crazy besties are. But speaking of Miluki, remember that time that he wasted one of the wishes on a gaming PC? And then his dad got so mad? Like, that is the face that a father would make if his son spent all of his money on a gaming PC. And I haven't talked about Kaluto at all. Look at this dude. He's got the drip, but his hair... He needs a new haircut, man. Who's your barber? You look like a Karen. You need like an anime side ponytail or something. That would be so cool. Complete the look, dude. Just saying. So after all this, we realize that Kurapika still exists, but like, he's leaving Leorio on red this whole time. And so because Leorio's left on red, he goes and has like the most sicko mode moment in the entire anime, and everyone loves this part. It's just a great part. He deserved every last moment of this. I thought that it was so funny how he was almost elected the chairman. Like, that's so funny. And his speech was peak. It was great. There was a lot of good stuff in this arc. Speaking of good stuff in this arc brought us these screenshots, which are hilarious. We haven't gotten to see the villains make dumb faces like this. I didn't talk about this at all, like, in the past of this video. I talked about it in the last video, but Hisoka and Illumi bestie moments are so funny to me. Like, their whole relationship, like, is hilarious in just the fact that they are so different as people. What really links them together is that they're just both good at killing stuff, and that's really about it. That's what's so funny. And more on that later. Anyway, did you know that in the scene that directly follows this, there's actually an error when it shows like this whole set of Hisoka's toys, you know, the people that he wants to, you know, eventually kill someday and whatnot. There's actually, you know, this doll here that's colored to look like Machi. Here's the problem. The Phantom Troop is over there. Machi should be over with the Phantom Troop, right? That's because that's not Machi. That's actually Silva Zoldyck next to his father Zeno Zoldyck. So, you know, Hisoka's just trying to get in with that Zoldyck family and kill them all, you know. I wonder if Illumi was over away from the Zoldyck family to foreshadow something that was happening in the future. Who knows? You know, Hisoka's just over here trying to kill every Zoldyck that ever existed ever. And, I mean, yikes. The way this arc ended, it was really emotional. Like, to see the end of the anime, to see where everyone was at this time, and to just know that Gon, now not dead. I guess I didn't really talk about Gon at all. He just played rock, paper, scissors too hard, you know. Gon, to make it to where he was going this whole time to find his dad, you know, it was really sweet. And it was just so nice to see everyone at the end of this anime. It was nice. It was really nice. Yet again, Leorio and Kurapika say adios, but this time we actually get to follow them as we leave Gon and Killua behind. Which is really interesting that, you know, we focused on Gon and Killua so much during the Greed Island and Chimera Ant arcs, and now to move to an arc. And now to move to an arc that's focused on Leorio and Kurapika, like, that's really cool that we're making that change. So, the real star of this arc is, yet again, Harrison. And Harrison reminds me, when he was explaining his motives for what he does, he reminded me of Sakyo from Yu Yu Hakusho. Here's why. Harrison's explanation for why he does what he does was, it had the same kind of vibe. I'm not going to say it was similar, but it had the same vibe as Sakyo's backstory. They have kind of the same outlook on life. Sakyo had everything. He had a family that loved him, that showered him in affection, and he hated them. He didn't want to live that life where he didn't want that form of happiness. His form of happiness was to cause suffering to others. There's another piece of this, and so through this, he did not only desire to cause suffering, he fell into gambling, and eventually decided that he was going to make the biggest gamble to not only put his life on the line, but his project that would cause suffering to the whole world of releasing the portal to the demon world. Like, that was his whole thing. So Sakio really derived so much pleasure from causing others to suffer. And that's what's so similar to Parison. You know, he realizes that he doesn't want to be liked by people. What brings him the most joy is when they hate him, and then to destroy them. And I think that, you know, that's really similar, you know, to how they view life. And I think that he is really leading up to being one of the most interesting characters in these arcs ahead. Anyway, during that time, Jing is also there, and he freaking JoJo's Bizarre Adventure ham-on punches the wall to, like, kill the other guys and stuff. And I mean, I suppose there was also that part where, like, they explained the calamities from the Dark Continent, and that was kind of like, oof, maybe we shouldn't go there, but It's time! It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Finally, the build-up that started all the way back at the end of Yorknew City. Frollo and Hisoka get to fight each other. And, I mean, to be fair, it's like exactly what you'd expect, like, from a fight with Hisoka, but he finally got to go sicko mode again for the very first time since the Hunter exam, and I'm a big fan of that part of the arc. Frollo out here is wearing his Jean cosplay, just, like, showing up in the middle of the fight, looking like a scrub, and it also has like the funniest line in like the entire fight when Hisoka's just going off and Frollo's like, no, let's just go back to talking about how we're gonna fight each other, okay? The actual fight is really good, as, you know, all these like fights in the arena tend to be the whole idea of Frollo using the abilities of the Phantom Troop members. You know, they lent him the abilities so that he could use them and control massive amounts of people in the crowd and make puppets. Like, that was really cool, and was able to, you know, overwhelm Hisoka. But of course, that wasn't enough to kill him or keep him killed. I mean, like, they straight up killed him, and then he came back and was like, you know what, screw you, I'm gonna go kill everybody. And I wanted to get through the manga because I wanted to see Hisoka lose so badly. Like, there was no way he was gonna beat Frollo, but I did not expect him to literally die and then come back from the dead. That was really intriguing to me. I guess since we're on the topic of the Phantom Troop, yeah, so now that Hisoka has declared, like, that he's going to kill every member of the Phantom Troop, I think it's really important that we, you know, kind of finish this off with the rest of the troops' interactions in this Succession Contest arc. Right, so we get to the ship that's going to the Dark Continent, and we meet the newest member. So Frollo is like an office boss, like at a meet and greet with like his staff at a meeting. Like, we're gonna play an icebreaker game, so like, please introduce yourself. Okay, hi, I'm Illumi. I'm joining the spiders because Hisoka said so. And after Illumi introduces himself, he drops the biggest bomb of like this whole interaction, and it's that Hisoka contracted him to kill him and called it their like engagement vows, which is so hilarious. Like, I don't understand their relationship at all. I never have. It's like, are they friends? Are they besties? Are they enemies? We're just never gonna know. It is a big drama. Now that Illumi's finally part of the Phantom Troop, we can get these like interactions that everyone's always wanted. We have the whole Gaslight, Gatekeep, Girl Boss group together. You know, it's finally gonna be this big showdown, and I really hope that they all get to participate in some capacity. I'm afraid that Hisoka is going to be picking people off one by one. We already know that there's a few of the troop members that are out by themselves. Machi's by herself because she wants to kill him first. Phaeton, I think, is the one who got separated from the group working with the Mafia. Hisoka is probably going to target Kaluto to draw Illumi's wrath. Just like he was talking about Killua back in the day. There's just so much that could happen with this. So yeah, these are the guys. These are my opinions on the guys. I think I could fix Illumi. You know, his trauma all results from his toxic mother and father, and I think that if he had a good therapist, he could turn into a good person. Whereas Crollo already seems like a decent person, honestly. Like, aside from the fact that he kind of kills people and steals from them, he's an okay guy, you know? Let's make him worse. And then Hisoka. What a guy. Anyway, so like the other stuff that happens in this arc, I thought it was really hilarious that Bisky and Hanzo are like roomies. They're just roommates. They hang out, they talk like they've known each other for forever. That's so funny. And then Kurapika is just out here like doing everything. He's the main man. He's the one who is carrying this arc on his back and showing us all of the ways that he's using his nen besides, you know, fighting the spiders. And yeah, so we're all here, like, this is great when Kurapika's like destroying stuff, but we're also like, bro, you lose 1 hour of your life every second that's activated. You better stop! So, the question is, what is going to come next for Hunter x Hunter? I have some predictions. Some are more serious than others. We know from Togashi's previous work, Yu Yu Hakusho, that there are some tragic deaths of villains that you come to like them as a villain, and you see the villains mourn for each other through that death. So I just don't know which way this is gonna play out. Like, I want Illumi to win. I feel like Illumi would lose. Really, my peak for how all of this fight would play out, right? What I want is, I want Illumi and Machi to fight together. And then after they beat Hisoka, I want them to kiss over his dead body. That is what I want. Listen. Okay, I think this would be really funny since Illumi and Machi are like the two people that have the funniest interactions with Hisoka. Crollo is like a very close third, like, to them. So close, because his like indifference towards him was funny, but now he's just developing like this hatred toward him, whatever. But we just know more about his interactions with Machi and Illumi. So I think that they would be a good team. You know, Illumi manipulates, Machi transmutes, so we got both sides of the Nen hexagon and the needles and the thread. Like, bro, Togashi, take notes. I got this. I think that they should kiss or hold hands or something. Anyway, so the stuff that's actually gonna happen is, I don't think either of them are going to survive. I want them to, but I don't think they will. What else is gonna happen? Well, Leorio's gonna continue to, be a doctor, you know, learn from the Cheetle and do the doctor things, you know, he needs to go to Killua and Aluka, and he just needs to ask Nanika to bring his Nen back so that he can become part of the action again. You know, I think that that's all it'll take, you know? And I think Aluka and Killua need to go to the Dark Continent anyway, just to get some closure with Nanika, you know, bring her back home. So here are my closing thoughts. Listen, there are a lot of explosions in this show, but even the atomic rose or whatever was not enough to kill the king of the Chimera Ants, alright? Even the sun and moon battery bomb was not enough to kill Hisoka. But you know what? You know whose bombs were strong enough to kill people? Genthru's were actually strong enough to kill people. Genthru killed the entire alliance. Just no cap. So actually, I misjudged him before. Genthru is the best antagonist in Hunter x Hunter because he actually can kill people with his bombs. Those are my opinions. Like, comment, subscribe.